Hi, I'm Shanna Katz, board-certified sexologist and sex educator, and I'm here with What They Are Asking. The question that has won for this week is, how do you tell someone, substantively a sexual partner, that you are transgender without it being weird? Now, the first part of that question is certainly one that many folks that are transgender ask themselves all the time. I want to address, though, the idea of being weird. Sex and gender is weird. It's one of those things that in our society we make it weird. We don't talk about it, we're not open about it, we don't have a lot of conversation or education about it, and so really any conversation around sexuality tends to be weird in some way, shape, or form. So just because you are transgender or you wind up having a partner that's transgender, that's not where the weirdness lies. The weirdness lies in how we handle sex, sexuality, and gender. Having gotten that out of the way, I have two different answers for you. The first is that if the question refers to you have been with a partner, you realize you're transgender, you are going to transition or not, but you want to share that you are transgender with your partner. Hopefully you are if you're in this long-term relationship, you have some trust that's built. But if you're a little uneasy about bringing it into conversation, you could suggest renting a movie. There's lots of movies that talk about trans folks, whether it's Boys Don't Cry, Trans America, there's positive trans portrayals in Camp, etc. So maybe watching a movie like that, or even suggesting that your partner read maybe one of Kate Bornstein's books or a book by Les Feinberg, and then having a discussion about it. Oh, what do you think? What do you think about this whole transgender thing? And then using that as kind of a gauge to see how they feel about it, so when you can decide how safe it is to have that conversation for yourself. There's also a lot of great resources out there for trans folks who are coming out to partners, or even coming out to parents, family, friends, all of that. So getting yourself acquainted with what there is, so that when people ask questions, you can either decide whether you're comfortable answering them, and if you're not, if you're comfortable sending them towards resources. So that's kind of the first answer. The second answer is that if you are trying to hook up with someone and you're not sure when it's appropriate to come out as transgender, or you are coming out to a new partner, again, you can always play that key, talk about, oh, did you know that in our state you can legally be fired for being transgender, and have a conversation brought about that way. You, again, could use media. We've talked about books, movies, those type of things. Say, oh, my friend is, and I want to talk about this. Or you can just come out and do it. If you feel that someone is safe, either because they've spoken about having had trans partners, maybe they are trans themselves, or have established themselves as a trans ally, or you feel safe otherwise, it's okay to say at any point, just so you know, I'm transgender, this is what it means to me, and this is what it might look like in our relationship or in our sexual hookup. You don't actually ever have to come out if you don't want to. There's a lot of conversation about whether you have to tell a partner before something happens. That is always up to you. You never have to share anything with a partner before, during, or after any sexual experience. That being said, hopefully you trust any of your partners enough to have that conversation, because trans bodies are sometimes different than cisgender bodies, and you want to be able to say, this is what feels good for me, this is what feels best for me, this is how I like to be touched. At the same time that you're asking them those questions, how does your body react to things? How do you want to be touched? So there's really a lot of options out there, but make sure that you feel safe with any partner, and that goes regardless of whether you're trans or not. Hopefully you feel safe enough with a partner to have those conversations before you either begin a relationship or have sexual interaction with them. But just keep in mind the weirdness. It's all about sex, it's all about gender. That's just how we function in our society. So any conversation is going to be weird. Just make sure it's one that you feel comfortable in, feel safe in. You can always bring an ally or a friend with you to have it. Or you can kind of decompress after the conversation with an ally or a friend, and see how things feel. And having resources at hand, either for yourself or for your current or potential partner, can be really helpful. Again, I am Shanna Katz with What They Are Asking, and we'll see you when you're voting next week.